This week marked the start of some new financial programs in our country, the first being President Trump's new savings account system for kids called Trump Accounts, and the other is a brand new stock exchange, the Texas Stock Exchange, launched Monday, with the potential and the goal now to compete with the New York version. And joining me today to talk about these two new programs and what these mean and how these work, we've got University of Denver Professor of Finance, Chris Hughen. Thank you for being here today.
Glad to be here.
I think a lot of people first are just like, wait, what is going on here? What are these things? Let's start with the Trump accounts. How would you describe this to your kind of average investor who already is thinking about investing for college for their kid? Maybe they already have a 529. Is that kind of what this is?
It's really a new type of savings account specifically designed for children.
Okay.
You can think about it as a 401k that comes with training wheels in some sense.
Okay.
This is a good thing for the most part because there's a pilot program for kids who are born between 2025 and 2028. The federal government is going to seed the accounts with $1,000. So essentially it's free money for parents and for their kids.
And early on, so benefiting from the compound interest of starting with $1,000.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
And let me make 2 points about that. I mean, first of all, really what parents should do is hold on to this, because if $1,000 goes into your kid's account and you leave it untouched and you get sort of the historical return on the stock market, that account could be worth $500,000 by the time the kid turns 65. So, you know, the stock market is at record highs. Who knows what returns we're really going to have, but definitely take the free money. I mean, that's a good way of sort of thinking about it.
Are these meant to be for education specifically or just anything? They're just an investment account for kids?
That's a great question, because the 529 accounts are really for college education. But the way you should think about a Trump account is that it basically, the money's locked up until the kid turns 18.
Okay.
And then it turns into an individual retirement account or an IRA. One way to think about it too is just if an IRA and a 401k had a baby and you gave that to a baby, this is kind of like the Trump accounts.
Okay, but it doesn't have the restrictions on use in the way that maybe a 529 would once you turn 18.
Yeah, it has the traditional IRA restrictions.
Oh, okay,
so you can pull money out for college education or the first time you buy a house, but basically it's sort of a retirement account.
Okay, and the benefit of this over other accounts of various investment options for children, like, is there one? Is it just another one? Like, you could do this in addition to what you're already doing, not necessarily in lieu of what you're already doing, right?
Right. So the downside is the complexity. I think for a lot of people, they're trying to struggle with, well, there are already 6 account types that they could form, and here's another one. So, you know, what do you do? Well, in the short run, parents should just take the free money.
Sure. And
the problem with an individual retirement account is that you have to have earned income to contribute. And of course, kids don't have earned income to contribute. And I said earlier that it comes with training wheels. The good thing is that it's put into a product which has the fees capped, and it goes into just a general index fund. So it's a really safe fund. It's not like they're investing in crypto or picking stocks.
Okay. Interesting. Now let's talk about this stock exchange. So we have, for the average investor who pays attention a little bit, I guess, you know about the big ones in New York, but now we've got the Texas Stock Exchange. What does that mean?
Yeah,
What's happening in Texas? I'm so confused.
Well, you know, I think the real message from this story is that there's a lot going on in Texas. Texas has more Fortune 500 companies headquartered there than any other state. It's sort of a wake-up call for Colorado and other states that there's a lot of business activity going down in a state that is fairly business-friendly. In the short run, this isn't such a big news story.
Okay.
The Texas Stock Exchange is the first fully integrated stock exchange to form since 1971, which is when the NASDAQ formed. The other thing is it's backed by huge players. Charles Schwab, Citigroup, BlackRock, Citadel, they all have a stake in this exchange. They started doing test trading on Monday. They're going to do some live trading on Friday. But for the average person who has a retirement account, you're still going to hold the same stocks in your retirement account. It's just offering brokerage firms an additional way to actually route the trades for execution.
Competitive, perhaps, with the New York exchanges?
That's what they're trying to do,
Okay.
but it actually has the same listing requirements pretty much as the New York Stock Exchange. Dallas, which is where it's headquartered, is now being called Y'all Street.
Yeah, I've heard this.
Which is, sort of a competitor to Wall Street. Is it really competitive at this point? I think what they're going to do is slowly roll this out. But here are two things to look for.
Okay.
If IPOs, new companies want to go publicly traded, if they start to list on the Texas Stock Exchange, that's a big deal. If companies delist from the New York Stock Exchange and move to the Texas Stock Exchange, that's a big deal. But the reality is, I think that that's pretty far off. But they've got a good start.
Texas is positioning. Texas is.
I mean, at some point,
a lot going on there.
At some point, Y'all Street could be the new Wall Street, and they'll be, feasting on brisket instead of bagels.
Well, that's a great note to end on. All right, Chris, thank you so much for coming in and helping us walk through these two accounts. We're going to take a quick break, or these two programs. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.